Why is it divorce rate is higher today than it's ever been?
Tell me why.
Why is it that the cry today is don't get married, hang loose, and the laws are going to take care of those philosophies. Palimony now. You can't even hardly talk to a girl or a woman and say, baby, I like you. Would you like to like me? That could cost you a court case. You can bleep this later, but it's all. That's really what it is. It's American, and it's gonna take us to a death stage.
What up, YouTube? You're in the den with Aaron EBM. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning and you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, you better go ahead and do that. I'm losing my patience. So let's go ahead and get right into it. If you were patient enough to watch the intro, what you have just seen is Barry White, one of the greatest romantic soul singers of all time, spinning that manosphere fire. Now, if you don't know who Barry White is, ask your grandmas, ask your aunties. Hell, you can even ask your mamas. He had them hot, he had them bothered, he had them moist, and on some nights, he had all three above. Why did I play Barry White, and why did I play that clip in particular? I played it because it has a lot to do with today's dating economy, today's social structure when it comes to relationships between men and women, and the trouble that a man can get in real quick in these times. But there's one part in particular that stuck out to me. He said that you can't even talk to a girl or a woman anymore without fear of getting in trouble. Now, in the light of what's going on today, it's a very sensitive topic, and I don't take those situations lightly at all. They did what they did. You know, some of us don't like the outcomes of certain of the cases. Some of us are elated. They should be prosecuted under the full weight of the law. But I'm not going to talk about that today. That's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is the culture, R-word culture, a grape culture, so this video does not get demonetized. Young men these days just seem like they have lost their way in some instances, just like the women have lost their way. And a lot of that can be blamed on parenting and lack thereof. I'll pull up a screenshot of the topic of discussion that we had. Having sex with a man because they won't stop trying, touching you, that was my lowest of lows. I don't like to scream the R word. Would never accuse anyone of that for no reason, but I believe coercion is the R word to an extent. I didn't want to do it. I said no so many times, then gave in. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, people, because a lot of people are scared to talk about it. A lot of people that with bigger voices than mine are afraid to talk about it and just won't touch it. Some people have touched it, but I have a unique frame of mind for that, so I need to share that. This woman in particular said that the pressure of a man bugging her to the point of having intercourse with that said person made her feel disgusting, and she considers that a form of the R word. Everybody has their opinion and can think and feel how they want to feel, but this is where we need to be very careful at. This is where we need to be extremely careful at. Yes, I believe that women should be taken seriously. Any kind of situation that a woman gets into like that should be taken seriously. You know, I think it's a stretch to say believe all women at all costs. Black men have been lynched, killed, put in jail for many years, only to be released later on when evidence has proved them innocent. We have to be very careful, and I know this is a culture that wants to demonize masculine men, and they want to champion women if they push back against the masculine man. You know, I do not agree with any man forcing themselves on a woman. I think that is the lowest of the lows, and they should burn 1,000 times over. But when we're talking about a man continuing to pester you or just continue to ask you or push itself up on you to gain physical affection from you, that is something different. Yes, I believe it is gross harassment, and it should be treated as such. The R word is a stretch. Coercion being the R word is a stretch. Or when is the woman responsible for her own body? I have daughters, so of course I don't want the daughters to be hurt or to be taken advantage of or anybody to force themselves on them. But I also have sons. And I have to think about my son in that situation, or my sons in that situation. If they mac on a lady, if they try to gain the attention of a young lady, would I be hurt? Would I be devastated if somebody accused my son of because they gave him their body because he just wouldn't leave them alone, or he just wouldn't stop trying to mac on? There have been jokes, there have been skits like the Dave Chappelle holla 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 skit. Now, is that annoying? Is that creepy? Yeah, it could. Yeah, it is. You could say that. You could say it's creepy. But is it the R word? And if somehow that series of holla holla hollas turned into you having intercourse, is it fair to call that the R word? Think of it like this. If you went to a car lot, you were walking around and one of the salesman walked up to you and decided to try to get you to buy this car. He took you out and he showed you several different cars, and you just wasn't feeling the cars for the prices, and then he decided to start making you feel bad because you didn't buy the said cars. You know, he took his time out of his day where he could have made a sale, and he pretty much made you feel like you wasted his time, and then you buckled and then you bought a car because you felt bad. Now, is that coercion? And should that car salesman be convicted of a crime? This is what I'm talking about. You have to think of things in context. You have to be sensible when you think about these things. These are the things that some of these womanists would love to be laws, and then every time that you would look at a lady in the wrong way, you're a misogynist, you are a R-wordist, and you are the scum of the earth. It's extreme. Nobody likes extreme. Everybody fights against extreme and is demonized. So how is coercion not extreme, or calling coercion the R word not extreme? We have to draw complete lines in the sand when it comes to sensibility. Where does it end? Because if that is the start of more things being added to the category of the R word, then where does it end? Where does it end? Is looking at a woman too long or giving her a gaze turn into the R word if she doesn't like the way you're looking at her and she decides to give you her goods? Is that now coercion, and is that now the R word? These are the things that you have to remember when they tell you just to believe all women, or champion this kind of rhetoric. No, I will never victim blame. But when does the accountability come on the person? I teach my daughter the same thing. Yes, there are plenty of guys out there that will like you, but there are plenty of guys out there that will take advantage of you. If you and two other girls were going to a party and you went to that party and it was 30 dudes out there, 30 guys, the likelihood of something happening to you is a lot more than if you were with a group of girls, the same amount of group of girls as it was the guy. That's the kind of sensibility I'm trying to talk about. No, you didn't. You might not have liked his advances. Yes, they were harassment. But what point of that does it come on you to say, hey, I don't want to have sex with you. Leave me alone. You're dirty. You're a creep. The next thing you know is that when a guy has game and he spits game and you didn't like him at first, and he spits that good game to you and you give in and you're mad at yourself in the next day because you might be trying to get back with a guy that you wanted to get with before you did that, and now it might get out that you had sex with this guy. Is that now the R word? See, and I don't know why people act like it's such a hard thing to understand or to believe when the same thing used to happen to slaves in slaveries with the master's wife. The master's wife would take the slave out, do things with him where he knew couldn't say no, and then if she got caught, she blamed him and said he R-worded her. Sensitive topic, I know it is, but we got to think about these things sensibly, and we have to be fair about them. Yes, it is harassment to continue to push up on a lady, and fellas, no means no. You need to protect yourself. But you got to draw a line in the sand, ladies, and you got to be real about it. Some of this becomes on you as an adult. If you can make this decision to have sex, then you can deal with those consequences. Protect yourselves as well. Value yourselves. And if you say no, get up and get out of there. There shouldn't be enough pressure in the world to make you give in. Okay, guys, let me know what you think about this topic. I probably went a little bit too long on this one too, but you know how I get. I appreciate it, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you will, help the channel grow, and I'll continue to put out this content. Until next time, everybody. Peace.
I keep God first. I see evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off.